Okay, for number 19, we're writing that function in the standard parabola form. And then from that, we'll be able to state the vertex, and then we'll find the intercepts and domain and range. So the first step to do that is going to be, let me rewrite this, y equals 2x squared minus 8x plus 3. And we're going to use a completing the square method, and to be able to do that, we want that first, the coefficient of the squared term to be 1. To do that in this form, we're going to factor a 2 out of the first two terms. So that would be 2 times x squared minus 4x. I'm going to leave a space there because when we complete that square, we'll fill it in, and then we're going to move that 3 down. Okay, and then we're going to use completing the square, which will half this middle term and then square it. So halving it gives us negative 2, square it will be a positive 4. Now when I add 4 to this right side of the equation, what I've actually done is I've added 8 because of the 2 in front of those parentheses. So if I add 8 on the same side of the equation, I'd need to also subtract 8 so that I'm not changing the value of that equation. When I rewrite it, y equals 2 times, let's factor that as a perfect square binomial. That would factor to be x minus 2 squared minus 5. In that form, we're able to see the vertex. The vertex of that parabola would be 2, negative 5. It's always going to be the opposite sign of what you find in the parentheses. This is always going to give you the same sign. So there's your vertex. Next, we want to find the x and y intercept. I'm going to find the y-intercept first. To find the y-intercept, we would let x equal 0. So to let x equal 0, we would have y equals, and I'm actually going to go back to this form because you would have 0 minus 0 plus 3. So that y-intercept would be the point 0, 3. To find the x-intercept, we would let y equal 0. When you let y equal 0, again, I'm going to go back to this form before we put it in standard form of a parabola. So that would be 0 equals 2x squared minus 8x plus 3. And I could actually do it either way, but I think I'm going to use the quadratic formula. So in using the quadratic formula, a would be 2, b would be negative 8, c would be 3. So to find the x-intercept, that would be 8 plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4 times a times c all over 2a. So that's going to give me 8 plus or minus the square root of 64 minus 24 all over 4, which would then be 8 plus or minus the square root of 40 over 4. And then to simplify that, first simplify that radical. So 8 plus or minus 2 square roots of 10 over 4. And then every single one of those terms has a factor of 2. So I would simplify that to be 4 plus or minus the square root of 10 over 2. So the x-intercepts would be those two x values, 0. That would give you the two ordered pairs. And then what we've got left to do is now draw it. I think I'm going to see if I've got a way. Yep. Let's draw that. So that's going to give me a vertex of 2, negative 5. Also, go ahead and plug in your intercepts. Now you may want to plug those values in your calculator, but I definitely have the point 0, 3 that I could plot And then the 4 plus or minus the square root of 10 over 2 is going to give me those other two values. And then the domain and range. Domain is going to be all of the real numbers from negative infinity to infinity. You can see from the left to the right there's no break in that graph. And then also the range, that the y values used on the graph include -5. So from the bottom to the top, you'll see that the y values used are from -5 to infinity.